There's been a new Snow White on the horizon that's been coming out with a lot of interest and a lot of controversy as well. Not just because Rachel Zegler has said some things that, quite frankly, were all factually true, but people didn't like that she said them. But even before that, there was some controversy about, well, what do you mean you're not, or what, like Peter Dinklage brought up an objection that you have dwarves in the movie and stuff like that. But then later other objections that may not be played by dwarves, and Disney tries to say, no, look, just trust us. They're really more magical creatures than anything else. Well, a couple of big things came out about this movie. Number one, it's been moved by almost a full year, and they announced that while revealing the first image from the production of the movie, showing us Snow White and the dwarves. This comes to us from the folks over at CBR who wrote the following. The live-action Snow White movie has been given a new release date of March 21st, 2025. This is just under 1 year after what its release date had been, which was March 22nd, 2024. The news also follows rumors that the film was at risk of a serious delay, even though filming was mostly completed before the project was shut down due to the film industry strike. A new image, seen above, which we'll look at in just a second here, was also unveiled of Zegler in the lead role, joined by her 7 companions, which finally reveals how Doc and pals will be depicted in the remake. All right, now, first thing, let's talk about the delay. One might, understandably, want to ask the question, well, if they were almost done shooting, I mean, once the strike ends, they can get right back and maybe finish it off, and maybe they could have had it done in time for March. That would be tough. But remember this. A little bit earlier in the show, we talked about when the ink dries on the new actor's contract, if it does in the next couple of days, which we hope it will, it's not like things that were in production can just go back into production. There's about 500 other productions that were supposed to be underway right now during the writer's strike. Crews are going to be dispersed. Crews are going to have pre-existing agreements and contracts with other productions that they may have to go to now. And just because the ink dries doesn't mean that they could have gone back into production on Snow White. They might not have been able to go back into production for another 6 months. And then you've got the post-production time. You got all that kind of stuff. I understand it getting delayed. I am curious about the length of the delay. The only thing I can really imagine for this long of a delay is that they really feel March is the best time. That's the best window for this kind of a movie. And if we can't get it out this March, we'll just push it to next March. All right. Well, aside from that, we got to take a look at this image, which you see behind me right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. I had 2 different thoughts when I saw this image. First of all, it's a very fairy tale looking kind of image. I dig the overall aesthetic of the image. I do. But so here are my 2 thoughts. My first thought was, oh, that's what they meant by we're kind of treating the classic 7 dwarves as like more several magical creatures, right? Because I started thinking, are they just going to look like regular human full-grown adults? Are they going to do whatever? They clearly are a live action representation of the classic 7 dwarves. Okay, I appreciate the approach. I do. I appreciate the approach. But the second thought I had was, while I appreciate the approach, I don't know that it looks all that good. I'm not like philosophically, I like what they're trying to do. I just don't know that it manifested the way they had it in their minds. Again, remember, this is all on a still image. Maybe once I see some video footage, it'll make me feel totally different about it. But that's just kind of my take on that. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Vessi. Now, you guys know I'm not exactly the most fashion conscious guy in the world, but I love a great pair of shoes that are comfortable and I can wear almost anywhere. And growing up in Canadian winters when my feet got wet a lot, waterproof would be nice too. Enter Vessi. They make the claim that they're not just fashionable and super comfortable, they're also waterproof. Now, you guys remember, when I got my first pair of Vessis, I put them to the ultimate waterproof test. I actually stuck my foot in my pool, my feet stayed dry, and the shoes stayed dry. Incredible. And they're the most comfortable pair of shoes I ever owned. Well, that made me want another pair. So I got another pair of Vessis that look great and just equal that world-class comfort that I got from that first pair pair of shoes. They are absolutely my favorite shoes that I've ever owned. Imagine your favorite sneaker style supercharged with waterproof technology and unmatched comfort. No matter how you like to stay active, Vessi has the shoes for you. Trail-ready high tops, effortless slip-ons, and classic court shoes, all with a waterproof twist. They are just as comfortable and stylish as your favorite sneakers, but even more versatile. So guys, if you're anything like me and you want the most comfortable pair of shoes that look great, that you can take out hiking, wear to work, go to the gym, or walk through the water and snow, go to vessi.com/Campea and get yourself a pair today. Go to vessi.com/Campea and get 15% off your order using the code Campea. Anyway, Rob, there are two big things to address here with Snow White. One, a year-long delay, which, I mean, we just basically got another year-long delay with the next Mission Impossible movie too, but a year-long delay and our first look at the Seven Dwarfs. What do you think about either of these?
Well, I think when you say that that image has a really great fairy tale aesthetic to it, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that I looked at this and went, oh, okay, I get this. You know, that makes total sense to me. This looks like a production painting that somebody might do, even though I think it's supposed to be.
Good way to put it.
You know, it's like, I'm there. But that said, I'll bet you part of the delay is this sustained over the course of 90 minutes or 2 hours, this aesthetic, the going from a live action Snow White to characters that are, obviously there's human beings playing them, but then you're having complete computer generated dwarves. And it's not like the dwarves that we saw in Peter Jackson's The Hobbit, which were all kind of the same size, which was done really well. He had because of the Lord of the Rings, he understood how to deal with scale. I'll bet you they have a real uncanny valley problem. And that's why they've delayed it a year. Because they've looked at this footage, they probably looked at finished effect shots coming in, and it just isn't working. This is just a theory that I would have, but looking at this image, it's going to be very difficult to have her interact with these characters, and it's supposed to be live action. This looks like a great fairy tale painting where I'm more interested in the aesthetic of the dwarves and the room that they're in, and I'm looking at her pasted into this image, like as a live action and I think that's the problem they have. The world and the dwarves look great. What doesn't work is Rachel Zegler as Snow White in the environment.
The merging of the live action with the digital.
I think they have an uncanny valley problem. And that's why they figured, well, we know it's working, but the aesthetic isn't working. We've got to figure out how to make these two things work.
And that's just something they wouldn't, I mean, with the thing supposed to come out in March, and let's not forget, we're basically in November. Now, March is not that far away.
No.
So I was kind of expecting a delay. I just wasn't expecting a year on all that. But there you have it. Guys, what do you think about the image that we saw, about the year delay? Again, I agree with Rob. Conceptually, it looks like a living fairy tale. Even just from a still image, I'm getting a little bit of that uncanny valley.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how this all works out. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.